How do you know if someone watches The Office? Don't worry, they'll tell you. The Office is one of the most ubiquitous media properties on the internet. The 2005 sitcom came out at just the right time, right before the advent of streaming services like Netflix. This resulted in the show's immense popularity to the point where it's the most watched show on the aforementioned service. Well, not for much longer, that is.
Top 10 saddest deaths in anime.
One of the core points of praise for The Office is how it has many jokes and other hidden details that encourage multiple rewatches. Fans of the series have viewed its 201 episodes countless times. However, for many fans, this number might as well be 200 because there's one episode that these fans dread the thought of rewatching. Season 6, Episode 12, Scott's Tots. Most people would assume that this episode is infamous simply because it's the worst episode in the series. After all, no matter what show you're watching, there always seems to be one episode that irrationally angers fans. However, it's not quite that simple. If you look at the episode's IMDb page, the episode doesn't have a significantly lower score than the rest of the series. So how exactly did this episode become the one that fans of the series dread? Well, to understand that, we need to talk about something incredibly important: cringe.
Bro, you just posted cringe. You are going to lose subscriber.
You probably know of cringe as that funny internet word, but there's a lot more to it than that. In fact, there's an entire genre of comedy focused on cringe. Cringe comedy, as described as the most reliable source of all time, is a specific genre of comedy that derives humor from social awkwardness. There are plenty of TV shows that are built around cringe comedy, most notably The Office itself, with the main character of Michael Scott. However, as the series goes on, Michael Scott is revealed to have some more sympathetic qualities, and the audience's reaction changes from cringing at him to genuinely rooting for him. And then Scott's Tots happens. 10 years before the episode proper, Michael Scott promises to pay the college tuition of an entire 3rd grade class, but unfortunately, present Michael is not able to go through with it. So the bulk of the episode consists of Michael visiting these students and awkwardly waiting for their expressions of joy so that he can tell them the truth. There's also a B-plot that nobody cares about, but this is the basic gist of the episode. This episode doesn't just give you the feeling of ordinary cringe, but rather a specific kind of cringe. Being reminded of socially inept things you did years ago. No matter how much we try to improve ourselves, we still receive mental reminders of how cringeworthy we were as children or teenagers. And Michael Scott is no different, having spent 6 seasons developing as a character only to get one of these reminders, and on a grander scale no less. So rather than being a poorly written episode that fails at what it set out to do, Scott's Tots is instead a well-written episode that succeeds at what it set out to do.
Joke! You on that beat!
It just so happens that what it set out to do was absolutely. When this episode aired, many critics gave it positive reviews and commended it as brilliant, while others found the episode hard to watch. Naturally, many fans held the same sentiments as the letter group, and the episode became infamous among some of these fans. And this is where Reddit comes in. Redditors love beating the same joke into the ground. So when one Redditor found out about the reputation surrounding this episode, they decided to create Archless Cannot Watch Scott's Tots, a subreddit dedicated to the same joke about how bad the episode is. Then some journalists noticed this subreddit and made articles contributing to the circle jerk about how different and quirky Reddit is. Wait, why is there a screen cap of my own video? But believe it or not, there has actually been psychological analysis done on this episode's effects. In particular, Dr. Pamela Rutledge of the Media Psychology Research Center brings up 2 key factors that resulted in the negative feelings that this episode generates. The first factor is shame, which Rutledge describes as the feeling that the whole self is flawed and also physically uncomfortable because it is not something we want others to see. The other factor is empathy, as Rutledge explains that the show's long length results in many fans feeling connected to the series' characters, which makes the episode hit even harder. So in conclusion,